Hi guys, it's me Rebecca. So today I decided to film a bookshelf tour. I'm just gonna show you every book I own and mainly every place I keep books, because even though I have two bookcases, I do have some books on this a chest next to me and under my TV stand. So yeah, I really keep books anywhere I can. And yeah, some housekeeping before we begin. You might wonder, where did I get these bookcases? So with the one behind me, I don't know where it's from. It's one my parents have had since I was a very little girl. So yeah. And the other one I have, the one in my bedroom, is a brown leather bookcase. The store I got it from has since shut down, but I'm gonna try and find something similar and link it, something similar on Amazon and link in the description below. So yeah. And organization, I organize my books mainly by author's last name, and it might seem a bit chaotic, but I do know where every book is. I know my method. So I start here, and then it goes here to the chest, and then to my TV stand, and then upstairs. So it's almost zigzaggy. So it might seem a bit chaotic, but I know where everything is, and everything's in order. So yeah. And I'm not gonna pull out every single book to show you the cover. I'm just gonna point to it and say what the book is and who it's by and whatnot. I just don't have a tripod, and I felt like pulling out every single book would take me forever, as with some shelves they're very tightly packed. So yeah. Anyway, let's get one more thing. I did count every book I own. I have about over 200 books. I don't remember exactly the number, so yeah. So this is the first bookcase. Ignore my cooler. And my bookcase also has these really cool sides that I like, so yeah. And decor, I just have these two pictures I took when I went to Edinburgh in, I think, 2017, and this ticket for when I saw Aladdin in, I think, 2016 on Broadway, so yeah. And I have one bookend here, and this one, which is versatile in the sense you can have it facing this way, or this way. I'm just going to keep it this way in an alphabet one when it's closer to Halloween, or when I'm in the mood to just change it around. So yeah, now for the books I own. The Poetics by Elizabeth Azevedo. The Goblin Emperor by Catherine Addison. The Hazelwood by Melissa Albert. Simon versus the Homo sapiens agenda by Becky Albertelli. In the Midst of Winter by Isabel Allende. Where Dreams Descend by Gianella Angeles. The Baroness Nightingale, The Girl in the Tower, and The Winter of the Witch, all by Catherine Arden. Wet Queen, Glass Sword, King's Cage, and Warstorm, all by Victoria A. Fjord. Anxious People by Frederick Bachman. Hellbent by Leigh Bardugo. I have one 9 files. I just ended up unhauling that a few years ago. I'm looking for another copy at the library bookstore, so yeah. Tender is the Flesh by Augustina Baztorica. I'm sorry if I butcher any of the others' last names as well. The Immortalist by Chloe Benjamin. Foundryside by Robert Jackson Bennett. And The Atlas 6 by Olivia Blake. And here's the second shelf. Oh, and this is a mask I got when I was in Venice when I was 11 years old. On this shelf I have The Atlas Paradox, One for My Enemy, and Masters of Death, all by Olivia Blake. The Diviners and Layer of Dreams by Leba Bray. Slewfoot by Blum. This edition of Wuthering Kites by Emily Bronte. I believe this is the Barnes & Noble's leatherbound edition. Red Rising by Pierce Brown. This edition by of The Master and the Margarita by Mikhail Bulgakov. This is like a Penguin Deluxe Classic edition. It's the 50th anniversary edition, so that's cool. Parable of the Sawyer by Octavia E. Butler. The Hacienda by Isabel Cañas. This is an arc I found in a free little library. The Wolf by Leo Carew. The Alienist by Caleb Carr. The Library of Legends by Johnny Chang. Murder on the Orient Express by Agatha Christie. Clockwork Angel. The Mortal Instruments. City of Bones. City of Ashes. City of Glass. And City of Fallen Angels, all by Cassandra Clare. And this is The White Scrolls of Magic by Cassandra Clare and Rusty Chu. Shelf number 3. This continues my Cassandra Clare collection. City of Lost Souls and City of Heavenly Fire by Cassandra Clare. Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell and Paranasi, both by Susanna Clark. The Invisible Library by Genevieve Cogman. The Binding by Bridget Collins. Razorblade Tears by S.A. Cosby. Finlay Donovan is Candidate by Al Cosimano. Her Majesty's Royal Coven and The Shadow Cabinet, both by Juno Dawson. The Book Eaters by Sunny Dean. Cloud Cuckoo Land by Anthony Doyer. His copy of Crime and Punishment by Fedor Dostoevsky. And this is the Penguin Classics Deluxe Edition. This edition of Rebecca by Daphne DeMari. The Sentence by Louise Erdrich. My Brilliant Friend by Elena Ferrante. The Pillars of the Earth by Ken Follett. The Paris Apartment by Lucy Foley. If I Stay Where She Went, both by Gail Forman. Good Omens by Neil Gaiman and Terry Pratchett. And Neverwhere by Neil Gaiman. And this is the last shelf on this bookcase. I have American Gods by Neil Gaiman. Everyone Knows Your Mother is a Witch by Rivka Gauchan. Carvel. Legendary and Finale, all by Stephanie Garber. Fun fact, my copy of Finale is actually signed by Stephanie Garber. I just got it at Barnes & Noble, so yeah. 100 Years of Solitude by Gabriel Garcia Marquez. The Signature of All Things and City of Girls, both by Elizabeth Gilbert. These Violin Delights, Our Violin Ends, and Valley de Fortune by Chloe Gong. This is the Barnes & Noble's exclusive edition with wet spread edges, and it is signed. So yeah. The Fault in Our Stars by Neil Gaiman. Not Neil Gaiman, oh my god, by John Green. The Nature of Witches by Rachel Griffin. The Overnight Guest by Heather Glutenkopf. The Appeal by Janice Hallett. The Library of the Unwritten by A.J. Hagriff. The Midnight Library by Matt Haig. This I think is 84 Charing Cross Road by Helene Hennef. A Discovery of Witches by Deborah Harkness. The Book of Lost Names by Christine Harmel. The 10,000 Doors of January and A Mirror Mended by Alexei Harwell. Wayward by Amelia Hart and The Cloisters by Katie Hayes. And this is what's on my chest that I have. And I kind of lied because I do have a book separated. It's not in my alphabetical order. I just didn't want to do with that reorganization, so that's my fault. But as you can see, I have The Divine Comedy by Dante Riabadero. So yeah. But here I have The Year of the Witching by Alexis Henderson. The Ghost Tree by Christina Henry. The Outsiders by S.E. Hinton. Blackbird House by Alice Hoffman. Magpie Murders by Anthony Horwich, The Kite Runner, and A Thousand Splendid Suns, both by Khalid Hosseini. One Time by Catherine Wine Howard. This copy is signed. I found it at a library bookshelf, so that's cool. And Unkindness of Magicians by Kat Howard. Never Let Me Go by Kazu Ishiguro. And The Haunting of Hill House by Shirley Jackson. And Divine Comedy by Dante. This is, I think, the Penguin Deluxe Classic Edition. And these are all of the books I have under my TV stand. With the organization, and I start it here and then go this way and so on and so on. Over here, I have the 5th season, The Blitzgate, and The Stone Sky, all by Anke Jemisin. I'm sorry if there's a glare. The City We Became and a World Remake, both by Anke Jemisin, and on top of that is A Portrait of the Artist as a Young Man by James Joyce in the Black Penguin Spine Edition, I think. Over here is the Stationery Shop by Marjane Kamali. Got Killer by Hannah Kenner. Before the Coffee Gets Cold by Kazu Kawaguchi. I'm so sorry if I butchered that. And Barrioids by Hannah Kent. And then lastly on this, I have Fairy Tale by Stephen King and The Twisted Ones by T. Kingfisher. This is also an ARC I got at the Vita library. Over here is The Historian by Elizabeth Costovo. The Puppet War, The Dragon Republic, and The Burning God by R.F. Kuang. Babel and Yellowface by R.F. Kuang. And A Trees Crept In by Don Kurtragic. And Jade City by Fonda Lee. The Gentleman's Guide to Vice and Virtue by Mackenzie Lee. A Lesson in Vengeance by Victoria Lee. The Phantom of the Opera by Gaston Leroux. I don't know which edition is this. Hostage by Claire McIntosh. And Portrait of a Thief by Grace D. Lee. And lastly for this row, I have Station 11 by Emily St. John Mandel. Stock and Jack the Whipper, Hunting Prince Dracula, and Escaping from Houdini, all by Carrie Maniscalco. And on the last shelf I have Capturing the Devil by Carrie Maniscalco, as well Kingdom of the Wicked and Kingdom of the Curse by Carrie Maniscalco. Embers by Sandor Marari. The Last Magician by, I think, Lisa Maxwell. The Winter People and Invited, both by Jennifer McMahon. One Last Stop by Casey McChristen. The Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller. Circe by Madeline Miller. Ordinary Monsters by J.M. Morrow. Grandmaster of the Modern Cultivation, Volumes 1 and 2 by Mo Zong Tongshu. And Grandmaster of the Modern Cultivation, Volumes 3, 4, and 5 by Mo Zong Tongshu. And then lastly, Mexican Gothic by Sevilla Moreno Garcia. And lastly, I have this series over here. I keep it separated because it's more of a nostalgic series. I read these when I was like 14. I believe there's 4 books, but I never got around to the 4th book. And yeah, but this is, I think it's called the Confessions series, and involves Confessions of a Murder Suspect, Confessions, The Private School Murders, and Confessions, The Paris Mysteries, all by James Patterson. Before I go upstairs to show you my second bookcase, you might be wondering with some of my books, where are the dust jackets? Like with a few of my Cassandra Clare's and these books by James Patterson. When I was like 14 or so, I used to take off my dust jackets, and I don't know what I did with them, but I don't know where they are, and so some of my books just don't have dust jackets because of that, so yeah. And this is my second bookcase. And as you see, I still have some room to grow. Yeah, this is like a dark brown ladder bookcase, and as I already mentioned, the store I got from shut down. I will try and find like something in a similar style on Amazon, and I'll link it in the description below. So yeah, and also I do have a couple books here on my desk, and I do have some more things here, but I had to remove them because, well, privacy reasons. So yeah. Anyway, let's get started with the first shelf. This is the first shelf. First off, I have A Secret History of Witches and The Age of Witches, both by Louisa Morgan. The Night Circus and The Starless Sea, both by Erin Morgenstern. The Clockmaker's Daughter by Kate Morton. Norwegian Wood and After Dark, both by Haruki Murakami. These Violin Delights by Mika Namara. The Bat and the Snowman, both by Joe Nesbo. Uprooted by Naomi Novik. Hamlet by Maggie O'Farrell. The Circus Train by Amita Parga. She Who Became the Sun by Shelley Parker Chan. The Magician's Assistant by Anne Patchett. The Lost Apothecary by Sana Penner. A Great Reckoning by Louise Penny. The Bell Jar by Sylvia Plath. The Overstory by Richard Powers. Daisy Jones in Essex by Taylor Jenkins Reid. Interview with the Vampire by Anne Weiss. If We Were Villains by Emma Leo. Sorcery of Thorns by Margaret Rogerson, and that little book that was hiding when I tried to film that lineup, I guess, was Normal People by Sally. This is the second shelf on this bookcase. Here I have The Sisters of the Winterwood by Rena Wasner. The Name of the Wind by Patrick Rothfuss. This is the 10-year anniversary edition. The Wise Man's Fear by Patrick Rothfuss. And The Slowick Guard of Silent Things by Patrick Rothfuss. The first 6 books in the Harry Potter series. The Shadow of the Wind. The Angel's Game. The Prisoner of Heaven, and The Labyrinth of the Spirits, all by Carlos Ruiz Zafón. The Last Wish by Andrzej Sapkowski. A Winter in Time and The Ladies of the Secret Circus, both by Constance Sayers. A Darker Shade of Magic and The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue, both by V. Schwab. Atomy, a Love Story by Dana Schwartz. This is my third shelf on this bookcase. First book is Midwinter Blood and Blood Red Snow White, both by Marcus Sedgwick. The Last Wish, The Ice Coven, and The Last Grudge, all by Max Seek. The Searching Tale and Once Upon a River, both by Daniel Sutterfield. The Island of Missing Trees by Elif Shafak. I'm so sorry if I butchered that name. Hamlet by William Shakespeare. The Bone Season by Saman Fashanen. Frankenstein by Mary Shelley. The Skids by Patti Smith. The Book of Cold Cases by Simone St. James. The Kiss Curse by Aaron Sterling. The Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde, and Other Stories by Robert Louis Stevenson. I've only read The Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. Sadie by Courtney Summers. House of Hollow by Crystal Sutherland. Dracula by Bram Stoker. The Secret History and The Goldfinch, both by Donna Tartt. The Tiger and the Wolf by Adrian Tolofsky. Catherine House by Elizabeth Thomas. The Hobbit, The Fellowship of the Rings, The Two Towers, and The Return of the King, all by J.R.R. Tolkien. And this is the last shelf, and this little rabbit I got at the tag sale. But books I have are Anatomy of a Scandal by Sarah Wong, The Chosen and the Beautiful by Nay Roy, On Earth We're Briefly Gorgeous by Ocean Wong, Fingersmith by Sarah Waters, The Golem and the Genie by Helene Mackler, For the Wolf by Hannah Witten, my first copy of The Picture of Dorian Gray by Oscar Wilde. This is the leather-bound edition from Barnes & Nobles. The Dictionary of Lost Words by Pip Williams. In My Dreams I Hold a Knife by Ashley Winstead. This edition of Mrs. Dalloway by Virginia Woolf. The Story, The Life of A.G. Figuri, and Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow by Gabrielle. And the last two books I have to show you are these two. This is a random copy of The Picture of Dorian Gray I found at a section of the library where they sell books. I got it because of that. I don't know what edition this is. I cannot find it, so yeah. Other than that, I have this, The Phantom of the Opera and Other Gothic Tales. This is a bound up from Barnes & Noble, so yeah. And that's all of the books I currently own. I do buy a lot of books at library book sales, and I get a lot of books from free little libraries, and yeah. And this isn't every book I have read, and I do unhaul books like regularly, like if I didn't like a book or if I don't see myself ever continuing on in the series, I will unhaul a book. And the only exception is Ninefels, where I did unhaul Ninefels, but I see myself continuing on in the series, so I did buy that book. I did buy Hellbent at the library book, so yeah. And yeah, I just create my books to enjoy what intrigues me. So this is a good combination of books I've read and really enjoyed, and the books I am excited to read. So yeah. And I think that's all for this video. So if you enjoyed it, give it a thumbs up, leave a comment below, tell me, just give me a book recommendation on the books you've seen. But if you want to, please subscribe to this channel, and if you want to follow me on any social media, then all those links are in the down bar below. I'll see you guys next time I post a video. Bye.